Hello and welcome back to our final chapter of this entire module series, and this will be the last tutorial where we're going to dive in on how we can now use our sequences which we have rendered for Lumens as well as for Path Tracer and throw those in other words upload them into DaVinci, where we're gonna do the last remaining tweaks, in other words adding another set of color balance, tone mapping, and anything that relates to improving the quality by adding also things like HDR and so on. The best thing to do is make sure that you have installed DaVinci. So DaVinci is the software, and this will be DaVinci Resolve, and I'm using 18.6 for this matter. Of course, there's the latest one, 19 version, so it's entirely up to you. It's very straightforward. You can actually go and download it yourself. It's free. You can also have a DaVinci Studio, and you pay once and you have it for life. And of course for this one it has all the extra features, and you can also use plugins for that. But because currently we're only using the free version, which is enough for this exercise. And so to get us started, I want us to go through just use of DaVinci. And because I already have some of the animations ready for it to start working with it, so I'm gonna use some of these very quick shots that I've just rendered them out. I'm gonna now put them into as a sequences inside our DaVinci. And to use this, and just to give you more disclaimer, what you can also do is I'm also using one of the favorite YouTubes to follow how to use DaVinci, because I'm not an expert in DaVinci. It just happens that it's my preferable software because it's free and also has all the greatest features that it offers, that software, especially for Unreal users. So I would recommend you to follow this YouTube links, which I'll provide at the end of this lesson. And also feel free to go through them if you have questions in regards to DaVinci. So coming up with our exercise, so let's go to this tab here on the bottom, the first one. Make sure first you have set up our frame display mode to work with sequences, because sometimes there's this weird glitch that comes with that, in our words, that happens that sequences are not being recognized as media format inside DaVinci. So there's ways to also figure this out. I'm also using lists here. It gives you all the drives here that are available here. So what I'm gonna do, I have all these renders here. I'm gonna literally load them up here, and I'm going to throw them as a sequence. So now at the moment, this is my sequence. So as you see, it plays through it, and I'm gonna do the same for the rest of them. So if I go and bring my other shots that comes with the whole render here, that comes with this folder, you can actually drag and drop the folders as well. What you can also do is also go to the each of the hard drives they have available here on your left hand side, and you can then check the media that's available. And it happens just I have it under my here, so I can all load them here, so I can just access them directly. To start off, let's go and create a timeline. And to do the timeline is either you go and pick up of any of this sequences you have available. So what I tend to do is right click and turn it into a sequence. And any sequence you work with, you can just drag and drop into the space here, which is the master container folder here. Create a timeline, just right click into a sequence that you have. And using this option, then go and to create a new timeline using this selected clip. Or what I can do is just let's go and grab all these sequence I have, and I'm gonna do the same thing there. So I'm gonna just drag and drop everything here. And I'm going to literally do the same thing for that. So I've got all of these three. And with all this selected, I can select all of them, right click, and I can go and create a timeline using all these clips. And what I tend to do, there's this problem sometimes you might encounter with sound. So what I tend to do is to untick the box here, so I don't use project settings there, because I have more of extra ability just to tweak those things by myself. But with this whole setup, I'm very happy to go. So I'm just click on general. I'm gonna go and name this final showcase. I'm happy with that, so I'm gonna create it. So now it's taking time just to load all this up into one. So now as you can see, I have literally a little preview here on the icon that provides me the whole timeline. So I'll double click on this one, and it will go directly throw me into the different tab, the third one from the left. It will show me that this is the tab I'm going to currently work. So as you can see, I can, if I hold Alt and use my middle mouse button to scroll in, you can see that everything is literally positioned in such a way that I can work comfortably with the whole setup. So this is cool because this gives you now options to do all the tweaks you want to work with. And then we got this, make sure that we have everything ready to start with. And of course, there's some scenes. Looks like this render didn't go well, so I'm going to remove this. So as you see, some of these are very dark, some of them are very bright, and they're actually all looking good. There's a very cool thing what you can actually do now is to go and select some tabs that you want to improve the effects for that. And of course, would be the best thing to do here will be to use this and coloration. This is a special tab where you improve not just the lighting but also high dynamic range to improve the quality of the overall image. That comes down to lighting and features that come also to not just improve the lighting but also improve the overall effectiveness for the tone mapping. So in this case, what I'm gonna do is to basically go and change some of the sequences that I've rendered just for this particular exercise, is to improve some of the shots. Because this shot, for example, particularly is too dark. What I tend to do, because there's some things here you can actually play with, and I just used the HDR tab here, and you can do is to use these to improve the quality of your lighting. But because the lighting doesn't particularly work well with this part of this section, there's one thing I want to show you, is to basically go and check this here. So, and at the bottom, you see there are some options here to improve the extra lighting. And what it does, this automatically improves the lighting that comes to this particular scene. So you can actually tweak those values here. And I'm gonna also add a little bit more lights there so that I can a little bit have a bit more extra quality to this lighting, given that I need to adding some of this feature there and there. And I see if I can try and make a little bit orangey looking thing. So it's very cool. Now you see how lighting so cool it looks like from the street lights. So if I play it through, you see how really nicely it behaves. And of course there's some things that require some changes there, but it's just for that sake, it looks really cool. And let's go into this shot as well. And as you can see, this shot is quite dark, especially on the edges where the wheels are rotating. Let me repeat the same process. I'm gonna go just a bit tiny, and then there we go. Let's change the also make it a little bit tint more interesting. I'm gonna maybe raise the temperature slightly. That gives you a very cool vibe to this scene as well. So now if I play it, that's very cool. Also, if you wanted to, you can also add some additional features that comes with that as part of the software. Some of these features, just to give you a little more info, some of them may not be available due to the matter of this limited edition of the software we're using, the Resolve, which is free. But because you can also drag and drop into this scene, and you can just drag it into this, connect them all together just like that by doing all these very cool tricks with this. So let me just undo this. So I can then try this one more time, connect it to this, connect it to that, and then now, let's say I want to tweak something here, and I can add something additional to that. Let's try chromatic adaptation here. Try see if I can connect it to this. See if it doesn't make any of these changes, so I can then change this. Now you see how very cool it does by giving these additional features and these special nodes that can be connected all together. You can then literally help yourself to improve your part of this scene even better, more effectively. Just make a little bit more move around that. A little bit tedious because these nodes are very tiny, so you need to always make sure you're holding them properly. There you go. So now you can then bring more if you wanted to. And then the way I do this is basically I'm connecting this main input there, and with the output I'm going now use the square connected to this little arrow here. And of course it's something not right because it seems like it's some color generator. It's not suitable for that scene at least, but just for the sake of it you can see what it's doing. So super cool, right? And then I don't need to, so I can remove this. Then I can just bring this back into this, and so on. As you can see, all this been applied to that. What's so cool, if you select Ctrl+C to copy it, and you can paste it also to the same node structure and the settings into each individual scene. And you can identify that some of these sequences have not been applicable with the same settings by checking this assigned as the frame colorful frame like this one in the middle there. And it basically, when you see, it's applied to only 2 of these shots. So if you go and copy from here and then stick it there, and it does the same thing basically, as you can see now. And let me do the same thing there. Of course, it looks too ugly, so this method wouldn't work. But let me try and see what happens if I connect it here. Oh, that's actually looking really nice. Obviously, there's some things that requires maybe a little bit setup there. So maybe I can just remove the chromatic adaptation, or maybe some of this stuff. So you can have more fun to play with this. That gives you a lot more options to try and see what improvements further you can make to this. So this is something for you to check this out yourself. So some of these features, as I said, don't work because this will give you that limits that comes with the DaVinci Resolve itself. So what I will do is definitely remove this one. I will only use the ones that are available for you to work with for the free version. I believe some of these may not be suitable for just exercise. And this is like literally, I tend to use DaVinci for this reason. You don't have to use DaVinci. Just for this particular exercise, I'm using DaVinci because it seems like it's the most suitable solution here for this exercise. But if you're really interested in getting more into other softwares, what I would suggest is to use something like After Effects, for example. It has also very cool features to work with, or Premiere if you wanted to. I also want to show you what you can also do. You can also add sounds here. So it just happened that I also have a soundtrack for this one. I'm gonna pick it up, and I have one in my folder here, so I could just drag and drop into this. And we'll add an MP3, and it's a very cool soundtrack. I like to use this for this exercise, and I can then throw this into my timeline here, and I can do is to, if I can just do that. So now you see, if I second, then I just drag and drop into this folder here, and if I open this up and I add my, let me just go and check this out. Where is it? Media pool. If I click on media pool, I can then also drag it like this, and let's say you play it. Also, there's another part which I really want to cover here, is that there's also certain tools that helps you with optimizing your overall videos, because currently if you hit play, you might see the music kind of moves on, but then the images are not being sequenced properly, because it seems like there's some issues with the rendering on real time here, and due to the fact that because it all happens to be playing through very high resolution at 4K. So what you can also do is to change the quality for the preview and make it quite a bit faster for your performance. So to do this, it's very simple. So in this case, what you can do is first use render cache to be smart. So that helps to cache things properly without taking too much toll on the performance. Another thing I'll also suggest for you too is to set to quarter, so you don't have to see the full resolution previews here. You can set it all at quarter. So that's another thing. So every time you play it, it should be a little bit faster. But also there's another trick which I definitely wanted to look through together. If you go to a project settings, so let's go check this properly together. And in here, if you scroll down, it will tell you then you can actually change your proxy media resolution, and let's do the same thing. So let's keep it at original. Let's keep it at quarter. And you can also do some adjustments here, but I will leave them to the way they are, because literally those ones seems like the format's kind of fine for this matter. I'll do the same thing for this one. So I'm gonna make sure I set it to maybe say a half, and that should be pretty much it. So I'm gonna go and save that. Now, if I select all of them apart from these two, so I'm gonna only select those sequences and right click, and if you can look it up, that's called generate optimized media. So now it's gonna take some time, and once this gets optimized, then your videos should play a lot faster without jittering and slowing down on your tool, especially for previewing your videos here. So now when you going through the process of optimization, you can just hit play, and now as you can see, things are moving smooth without any jitters and hiccups that comes along with that. and you can play it, which is really nice to have that. Now the final bit, which is the most important, is go and hit render. So before we do this, the way it works with this whole DaVinci Resolve is to go to this little rocket there, and that literally goes directly to your render mode. But because the render mode, that doesn't mean it will automatically render all this stuff. So what you need to do second is to set few things up. But before I'll change anything location, I'm gonna go set up this audio first, because sometimes with audio, there's some things that you need to always remember, that your audio may not be as loud comparable to the original track, especially when it comes to track that comes from the MP3 formats. What I would suggest you to do is to set this to 24 channel. So this will help to hear louder your sounds from that render that you gotta make, and also you'll be able to have no later any problems with any audio output. But also another thing, what you can also do, if you're interested, when the audio is selected, you can actually increase your sound here too. So that increases your decibels level. For now, let's go back, and also let's go up our favorite, which is the video settings. With this one all selected, should be pretty much how it should be set up. Now what I need to do is to go search for my location. So I found my folder here, so I'm gonna call this, let's say, final car video. Let's say we save it, and then next step is to add this to render queue. And you want to just very quickly preview it, what it looks like before you hit render, pretty much what it looks like. And then now with all this up, you can go and then literally set it to render all. And that's it for now. This is what you have learned so far, and what you now gain is the knowledge on how to also use DaVinci to do the final renders for your ultimate goal, to make sure they reach that final step, which is to render all of it from Unreal and then get into DaVinci. And now you're more comfortable using DaVinci Resolve if you ever wondered to use this software. And I highly recommend to use it because it's very cool. And as you can see, it does a lot of cool automatic tricks there. And I hope you find it very useful. And the course was something for you to work with, and you found it very suitable for your projects that you're going to work with. And I hope that you guys have so much fun for all the knowledge you have gained so far. Going through my course. Now I have ability to be more creative and do very stunning animations and renders, even better than mine, but I gave you all techniques, and that's something now you can figure out all this yourself. And I'm super happy that I was part of this whole journey, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you creating very amazing videos out of all these tutorials that you learned so far from these modules, and I'm really looking forward to see more of your outcomes by following my tutorials. Thank you so much and all this time, and I wish you all the best and happy rendering.